Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Tayport Breakers Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Keith, and today we are joined by the almighty one himself, the general manager of the club, Jason West. Jason, how are you doing?
How's it going, man? Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. So we'll start off right away, right into it. A little bit about you. Where did you grow up? What was it like growing up there? And what sports did you play when you were younger?
I'm from Mississippi originally, and we lived all over the state. My dad was a coach in several sports, football primarily, but baseball and other things as well over the years. And so we moved around every 2 or 3 years, all within that same state. And I played a little bit of everything in high school. A lot of football, even track and field, that kind of stuff. More field than track. and,
You couldn't tell that anymore.
yeah, exactly. Um, but no, I played a little baseball when I was younger. It was never my primary sport, but kind of always. I don't know. I think anybody that grows up, in a particular area of the U.S., I mean, you're always going to have that kind of epitome of summertime is playing a little baseball, locally, whatever. So
Yeah, that's probably the great thing about America is that it's very much focused on multi-sport. You're never just a one-sport athlete. It's something they really go.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it depends on where you are in the country as to kind of what is the big sport. I mean, certainly down south. Football kind of takes precedent, but you got to have something to do in the off season. So
Yeah,
a lot of guys play baseball or basketball or usually up until the point you become better at one than the rest. And then, if you're trying to think about things like scholarships and all that, then you want to, you kind of got to be careful. You don't want to mess one thing up, kind of playing around in something else. But yeah, a lot of guys do play multiple sports.
yeah, yeah. So how did you end up over in Scotland then? That's a bit of a big move from Mississippi over the pond.
Yeah. No, I went to university at Edinburgh, and then stayed after that. Met my wife there, and so moved around a little bit. Went back home for a short while, and then ended up both of us working in Glasgow, and so I was there for a while before coming to Tayport here. So
Yeah. So which team did you start playing for in Scotland then? You obviously started playing over here.
for baseball, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know that there was baseball leagues until I went to Glasgow. And the funny thing is, like we moved houses a couple of times when we lived in Glasgow, and I used to live almost right at where they play their games in Glasgow, and I had no idea that they existed until I moved to the other side of town. So then I had to drive my ass all the way back to go to practice, even though I used to live right next door. But yeah, no, I played for. Well, I was on the team. I don't know how much I actually played, but I was on the Galaxy side for Glasgow there for a couple of years, and it's a good bunch of guys, and I was grateful for the opportunity to give me a chance to get back in the game a little bit, and I just enjoy being around it. So
Yeah, you obviously spent a few years over here playing American football as well.
yeah. I played American football for Edinburgh University, and then I played for Dundee for several years before I went back home, and even a little bit after I came back. But then, of course, like I said, we moved to Glasgow, and there are a few teams there. So
And then your body falls apart a little bit in football.
it was falling apart before I ever came back. I mean, even that year was 2010 or 2011. I was playing the uni ball, and it was, I was a good 10 years older than most of those guys then, and just thinking, yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this. Of course, I did it for another 10 years, but yeah, at some point you got to hang that stuff up, and, baseball, you'll be a little sore, but, maybe a slight less of a risk of breaking anything,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So you ended up in Tayport, obviously. What attracted you to the area? Was it just a case of convenience, or was it a job specifically?
Well, we actually moved here. My wife got a position here at the university. She's working out of Nine Wells Hospital. She's a researcher there. And whereas I was, by that time I was working from home. I work in education for a company back in the U.S. And then I also teach. Of course, now I teach online, obviously, but so I was able to do that from anywhere. So we kind of came over because of her work, and just through the process of it all kind of happened really quickly. So we only had a couple of weeks to find a place to rent, and Tayport just happened to be where we landed. Didn't really know much about Tayport, but we really enjoy it. So much to the point we're buying a house here now, and making it home. So.
Yeah, as a Dundonian, I'll say you're missing out on a lot not being here, but a lot of what? I'll let the viewers and you decide about what you're missing out on.
I mean, Dundee's spitting distance away. I mean, other than the big bridge, that's, it's not much between us. So.
Yeah. So how long were you here before you decided to start up a team?
Maybe a few months, I guess. Where the field is now, I used to walk our dog out there all the time. And, when that weather hits kind of just right, you're looking around, you're like, man, it smells like baseball season out here, and then it just kind of a light bulb went off. And I was like, yeah, I'd like to play a little more baseball. Let me look and see, what the driving distances are, between all the teams. And Tayport's kind of right in the middle of all of them, really. I mean, you got a good 45-minute to an hour drive anywhere you going. And I thought, well, just make our own team, no problem, right?
Definitely. So the process of setting a team up, that must be pretty daunting. As somebody that did try it with a couple of our current players myself, it is really hard. What did you find about it was possibly the most difficult thing?
I don't know. I guess making the jump from theory or an idea on paper versus something actually happening, because for the first few months, it was just me, I addressed all the emails and contact as we, and, and as the club, but it was just me and my computer, and so, I guess the biggest thing was just making the right contacts in the area and, speaking to all the people in the community and the council and that, and, kind of testing the waters, as it were, to see, what might the response be for starting up a team. And then, of course, finding the right people to get involved. I mean, right out of the gate, we had a lot of people, contact me, and they seemed really keen for it. And we thought that we were going to have all these people, with all this experience and whatever. But then, when push came to shove, they didn't really want to put the work in for a new club, because it is a lot of work. I mean, you guys have done a lot of work, and I mean, there were a lot of guys that were there, on the charter, as it were, that never turned up.
I remember seeing that list. You've told us about the amount of people, and when you have a list of maybe 36 people and only 9 show up, 8 show up.
Yeah, well, now I've got 2 lists, and they're equally as giant. You get put on the interest list, but eventually I'm going to stop emailing you and just move you over to the other list if you don't show up. So,
yeah. No, definitely. I remember when you put a post up and it was shared on the Baseball Scotland page. This is a story that I've never told Andy. And I was like, oh, I'm very impressed. And I didn't reply because obviously we'd been through the same experience trying to set up a team. I was going to give it time to set.
Yeah. See if it was
I was out the next day for lunch at work, and Ross, our head coach, I'd known Ross. I'd played with Ross a little bit, and I was sitting there, and Ross just walked past the window, and he looks in, and our eyes catch. It's poetic. I waved to him. He comes in, and he mentions the post. And from there, I think it was the same day we both sent the email to you, and it was just right. We're both all in, because we tried to set up a team here, and traveling to Aberdeen for me was a no-go, and traveling up and down for him was a pain in the backside after a while. And that's kind of how we both at the same time, set out to get in touch with you and get involved.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was kind of the idea behind it. I mean, like I knew from playing in the league, years previous to that there were guys kind of in the Dundee area, even in the Perth area, who might be interested. St. Andrews, kind of this whole kind of East Fife kind of area as well, that are traveling distance, and it just kind of made sense to me that, if we've got this many people interested, why not put up a team and see, where that could lead. So, so far so good. I'm more than pleased with the turnout that we've had, and it continues to grow. And I think with the, with the last couple of years that we've had to deal with, the fact that we've managed to keep growing, I think that speaks bounds, for you guys and for the kind of team that we're building here, because if you can do that without having the reassurance of getting a ton of games and getting a ton of experience, then when you do start having, that regular schedule pan into it, I think you can only get better from there. So.
Yeah. No, we've discussed this a few times in groups, and a little part of me wants to say that, having the almost 18 months involved where it's just guys playing baseball, having fun, putting in some time on a field, and building a field, and not having to lose any games, which can be pretty disheartening to a lot of people. Yeah. That's maybe actually been a bit of a benefit for us. We've now got a buy-in with a good dozen guys and girls that are really interested, and it's worked out fairly well.
Yeah, I think certainly for, maybe some of the players who were, very brand new to the game, is giving them a little opportunity to at least, get a little more comfortable with the basics of it. I mean, baseball is one of those games that, I mean, you can learn to play it in a day, but you'll be trying to master it forever, and even the guys that do manage to master it have off days, so it's certainly one of those games that you can really sink some time into.
Yeah. So. When mastering something means failing 7 times out of 10, that's the level of mastery I can accept.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so moving on to the 2021 season. It's a big season. We finally get another stab at a season for the players. What are we looking at the big picture? So we're obviously looking at field work. We're trying to develop further the field.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we've also got a great idea. We're working on the kids side of things as well for development of players. Do you want to talk about that a little?
Yeah. So, as far as the field side of things, even from the beginning, I mean, there's a lot that we want to do. And I'd say that that's probably my biggest job, is trying to rein you guys in a little bit and rein myself in a little bit, as well, because, there's a lot that we want and there's a lot that we're going to get, but, really trying to put an idea together as far as, what is going to be feasible in what year. Certainly COVID had, put a damper on things as far as, really getting people out in recruitment and even just being able to move forward with certain fundraising aspects, so, I think we're still managing. I think we'll manage to, get some things done this year. And then, you just kind of start that process over and you reassess, okay, what were we able to do this season and what would we like to do next season, and you try to get as much in as you can, but you want the bigger projects that you have, I mean, buying a couple bits of kit, that's one thing, but, I mean, your field work, if you're not progressing and making your field better, then eventually it's going to start sliding the other way, so I think it's something that you always have to stay on top of. So, and as far as, the youth program, that's something that I wanted to do as soon as possible. I would have liked to have gotten a full season in with the Breakers before we brought in the youth squad, just because it would have helped, I think, in the local area as far as getting out, what is baseball, especially young kids, they may not really know much about it. And, whereas if they see adults playing it, then, you know, then all of a sudden they're interested in it. But we've actually got a pretty good response from, from our initial flyers and things about the youth program, and so I think starting to develop that and getting kids of all ages involved, that's only going to grow your program. I think Aberdeen starting to see some of the benefits of that now. Having a youth program and starting to get a couple of players trickle up from their youth divisions and things like that into their teams, and I think if you're in a place that doesn't necessarily, or even a sport that doesn't necessarily have a university contingent, and I know that there are, Aberdeen does have the university team there as well. Now Sterling's coming on, and hopefully other university teams as well. Those are great things to feed in as well. But I think the youth program, in terms of long-term sustainability for a team, that's where you got to put roots down, because if you start kids, as early as 5 to 7, playing t-ball, and they really get a taste for it, and then they move on and they develop those skills, by the time they're 14, 15, ready to move up into the adult league, then, they're going to have a lot of things come to them second nature, just in terms of basic playing ability. And I think that's something that you can't replicate any other way. So
yeah, definitely. That's the great thing about having the full program for the youth baseball set up. It's going to be 3 different groups covering ages, from 5 years old right up into guys and girls coming into the adults team, which is absolutely massive. So no matter the age, we're always willing to bring in a kid, and hopefully when we're started up, get them involved in the game.
Yeah, like I remember being a kid and watching my dad coach and then like he played like church league softball, and stuff like that, growing up. But to me, that it's all baseball when you're 7 years old,
Yeah.
But and then of course, I grew up in the I'm a big Braves fan, so the whole 90s era Braves, Bobby Cox and the Greg Maddux and John Smoltz and all these guys, and college sports is really big at home as well, and so that was a big part of like what it meant for me, at that age. I used to go to Mississippi State baseball camp for a month, and you go and you're dying because it's like 110 degrees and just sleeping in some stinky old dorm. But when you're a little league player, that's like going to the majors, like you're there without your parents and whatever, and staying with a couple of buddies and trading baseball cards all night, and that kind of thing. And getting to meet like Ron Polk and a couple other big names that kind of come out of Mississippi State, is just I think that's the kind of thing that stuck with me, even though I didn't really stick with baseball, all the way through. I kind of leaned more towards football, but that feeling of kind of belonging to the team and just, I guess,
it's a real camaraderie, isn't it? Between
there's a magic to baseball that I think you don't get with other sports. Like American football, I would say, has a lot of the drama, but there's something special about baseball, just that there's always that one pinnacle moment, and there's nothing better than kind of seeing it,
Yeah.
So I think if we can give that to kids and kind of give them that Sandlot experience, where their summers are filled with, hey, it's daylight, I'm leaving, Mom. I'll be at the park all day playing baseball with my friends, because that's the other great thing about, where we've got our field is that, the way that we're doing it, yeah, we've got our kit that we want to bring out, but it is that kind of Sandlot kind of area where anybody can come out there and play pretty much any time, So, like you start getting these kids into it, and I think you're going to see kids out there on the diamond.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's probably one of the biggest benefits of being in Tayport is that it's such a small place that, kids from the area, they'll be able to, like say, just walk along the field and
Yeah.
put a couple of bags down, and that's them ready to go with the ball on a bat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then beyond that, we've also got, I'm going to say it, the most picturesque field in the country. I won't hear anything about Stirling University. Won't be hearing that at all.
That's a university field. That's a university field. That's a completely different story. It is beautiful, but yeah, I'm with you. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better backdrop. Certainly.
Yeah. Okay. That was a great segue, by the way, talking about your love of the Braves. Let's move on to some MLB talk. Okay. So you're a Braves fan. Do you have any hopes for them this year? I know a lot of Braves fans are pretty high on them after last year's performance.
Yeah. I mean, you always have hope as a Braves fan. After last night's performance, I don't know. The opening day didn't go so well for us, but it's kind of lackluster. I mean, it I don't know. I wasn't too upset over it, to be honest. There's a lot of ball games left to play, and the Phillies are tough. So
yeah, definitely, definitely. So biggest player as a kid, then you obviously had, like I said, a great rotation at that time in the Braves when you were growing up.
Oh yeah,
Who the pitchers stood out most to you?
Pitchers?
Yeah.
I mean, all right. So like I guess ball players in general. So before the 90s and I got in the Braves and everything, again, like everything for me kind of fed through that whole Mississippi State thing. So I was looking at, a lot of players like those that I knew the names from Mississippi State. And so I kind of followed them forward. So like Will Clark, Palmero, like a lot of those names that kind of went on and did big things. And then and then certainly, the 90s, I guess, it probably Smoltz and Maddox, I guess. I mean, that would probably have to be the big ones,
Yeah. No, I think I would definitely go with Maddox. Being a Cubs fan, again, obviously there's a bit of bias there.
Yeah.
Anybody that has that much control of a baseball can, he can still play now.
Yeah, but I mean, like there were just so many names on that 95 team specifically. I mean, you got David Justice and Chipper Jones and like all these different people that you had really contributing. And then of course my favorite guy, Bobby Cox. He's going to be counting on that ejection at least once in a series.
I was going to say, how many times are you getting ejected as a player this year?
As a player?
Yeah.
Probably none.
Oh.
Probably none. I'm pretty mild mannered. Like, I'll chuckle at it, and I like to watch people get ejected, but I like to think I've got kind of a calmer head. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, next up, we're moving on to the quick fire round. One word to describe a group of our current players. This was a pretty popular one last week. It created a bit of a controversy in our group chat, the players group chat. We had a good laugh about it. Okay, this week we're going to start off with the man who was last week described as a loose cannon, Damien Edgar. On you
go. He's dedicated. I'll give him that. Anytime we've got training going, he's right there, ready for it. When he can be, he's always chomping at the bit, ready to go. So yeah.
Yeah, it definitely brings a lot of energy. How about Jake?
Jake, I think improved, I guess. Most improved, if we're going to hyphenate that word. But, I mean, Jake's one of those guys that's really come a long way for us, and I think he's going to go even further. taking up the mantle of managing that youth program side of things. And, I think he's going to do a lot of good things with that. So.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I think he's an absolute grinder. He put it over lockdown. The amount of work he put in,
Oh, absolutely,
was phenomenal.
We go into lockdown, and he's batting righty, and we come back, and now he can bat lefty as well.
Yeah, comes back as a switch hitter over the course of a couple of months.
Yeah, and successful at it. That's the thing. I can say I'm going to bat left-handed. It doesn't mean I'm going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I can bat left-handed and follow my backside every day of the week if you want.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's pretty impressive just in itself. So yeah, I'll go with that. Grinder is a good one.
Yeah. Next up, one of your old friends, Stephen Stosh.
Reliable.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, he's another one. I don't think we've ever said we were having a training and he wasn't there.
Nope.
And he's always there in enough time to to help put everything where it needs to be, before and after training. And he's always there for our for the board meetings and stuff as well. So I think Steven and guys like him are they're the ones that are really going to hold everything together, to make sure that things keep ticking over. So
definitely.
Yeah, reliable.
How about the head coach, Ross Marnie, Bash?
I think this is partly, I mean, obviously he's a new dad, but I'll give him the father figure head for a lot of the guys on the team. I think a lot of the guys look up to him, especially those that have never played before. Really, I think they look to him and yourself, for a lot of the, for the just basic game knowledge, but also just, to kind of watch how he handles training and handles his own routine, like when he's out there, so I think he's, setting a good example for a lot of our guys.
Yeah, no, well, the next two people that I'm going to mention are probably harsher. I'd definitely say Ross is the nice cop out of the three coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, it'll be myself.
You
can stab me in the back if you want.
No, it's not a backstab. It's like, honestly, it's passionate, I would say. It's no secret sometimes. I think, for example, like you and I may not see eye to eye on everything as far as, what's happening, with any particular aspect of the club. But I think, again, that's something that the club needs is different experiences and different perspectives on things, and, wouldn't have it any other way. So
definitely.
And I've never been one to shy away from
no
conversation or an argument. So,
I can't remember a training session where one of us has not looked at the other and went, what's he doing? But at the end of the day, it's always, what's he doing? I still agree with what he's doing because he's with me, he's on my team.
Well, that's, again, like, and I've said this on other podcasts and stuff, like with all you guys, like, I don't really feel like, I mean, like, obviously, we've named Ross as the head coach, but like, I value all you guys, kind of at the same level, because everybody brings a different element into, how we're working with people, how we're motivating these players. And, I think having that mix is invaluable. So.
Yep. And last up, the final of the Amigo coaches is Scott Black.
Scott is kind of the dark horse for me. I didn't really know Scott. I mean, I didn't really know any of you guys in the beginning, but, Scott came in a little bit later, and it was literally just, I mean, like, you guys were, hey man, this is Scott. He's going to be a coach. I was like, yeah, all right. No problem. So like, I didn't really know what to expect out of him, but again, I mean, he's another guy that's there every time the doors open, and, extremely knowledgeable. He's a great player as well. And again, he's just another one to kind of bring in. He's kind of the middle ground, I'd say, you know, with the whole good cop, bad cop thing, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll take the bad cop designation. I can live with it.
you know, I mean, like he might be thinking bad cop, but but what comes out of his mouth is good cop, you know. And
Yeah, definitely. That's Scott.
I think being able to bite your tongue is a big part of being a good coach as well. Sometimes,
Yeah.
not always. Sometimes, you know, somebody needs chewing out. So that's fine.
Yeah. Perfect. Nope, that was great. Okay, the next round is a quick fire round on you. It's 5 questions, nice and simple. This should take no more than, I'll say, a minute, okay?
Okay.
Do you prefer TV or movies?
Movies
Favorite movie of all time?
of all time, The Quiet Man.
Ooh, that's a good one. What's your favorite word?
Favorite word?
Yeah.
Teacher. I don't know.
Very nice. Very apt. Well done. What's your most used emoji?
The wave.
Yeah, definitely. There you go. And what is your biggest hidden talent?
I don't know. I don't tend to hide any talents that I have. Probably.
That you haven't mentioned so far then?
I don't know. I do a lot of music and theater and that kind of stuff. Is something people probably don't know about me. So
Yeah, perfect.
that's
Okay,
probably it.
spot on. And just the last 4 or 5 questions on baseball, and that'll be us. Okay, if you could throw one pitch well, what would it be?
Gotta be it's a fastball, man. Like, you know, put it over the plate.
Yeah, just putting it over the plate would be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could steal one attribute from one of the players on our team, what would it be, and who would it be?
I don't know. If I could be as young and rubbery as Damien, I think I'd be good.
Yeah, I think I've seen that answer coming from a mile away.
You know, if I could have somebody's good knees again, that'd be fantastic.
Perfect. Okay, what scares you most on the field?
What scares me on the field?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. Brave man, brave man. Okay, we'll get one of the pictures thrown at you on Sunday.
There's a lot of things that piss me off. There's not a lot of things that scare me.
And last question of the day, DH or no DH?
Oh, absolutely DH.
Nope, I'm not accepting that answer.
You said not accepted if you want.
No, Jason, thanks very much for coming on. It's been much appreciated. And I'll be seeing you on Sunday. And do you want to talk about how people can get in touch with you and the team a little bit?
Yeah, anybody that wants to, you know, get in touch with us, obviously find us on Facebook, social media. I think we've got Twitter going up now. We've got Instagram. But, you know, reach out on any of those. Or short of that, you can email us at tayportbaseballclub@gmail.com. And, you know, somebody will always get back to you within, you know, a couple of days, if not that day. So, you know, we're here, and let us know if you want to come out and get involved in any way.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for coming on, Jason.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.